What is up, peeps? Happy Tuesday to everybody watching tonight, tuning in. And as you guys come in, been a little while since we've been off. My house isn't on fire. You know what that is. Had a painter here, had a guy putting new doors on, all kind of stuff. So been busy, but I'm going to make some more time for this. Now some things have calmed down. We got everything finished here at home for now for the next project, which probably won't be till the fall. We'll be putting the fence up, redoing steps. So since I moved in November, we've done quite a bit. I'm not the handiest dude. Like I was going to hang doors, interior doors. Figure how hard can that be? I watched a couple videos and it's extremely hard. Out of my depth a little bit on that. So anyways, everything's going good. So I kind of got my room back here. It's not totally finished yet, but it'll be a little more decorative. I'll have some stuff over here and things like that. But I'll be saying hi to everyone here in a second. It's great to see everyone again. I have a hard time making people's lives. I might comment after or things like that, but I'm going to try to do a better job. The primary is May 20th. So it's just like every other state, I think. You have a primary, and then you have a general election. And there's 9 people running for 4 spots on the school board. We're all cross-filed, which in our county or state at least means I'm a registered Democrat, lifelong. I mean, I'm in Allegheny County, about 90% probably Democrat. Pennsylvania is Democrat, Philadelphia, Democrat, Pittsburgh, and everything else is pretty much almost as Republican. But those are the 2 big population centers in the state, and but I'm also a cross-filed Republican, which means if you get 100 votes in the primary as a Republican, you can run as a Republican in the general election if you don't win your primary as a Democrat. Does that make sense? Pennsylvania got some crazy ass old rules. I don't know if it's like that everywhere or not, or what the number is. But anyway, that'll be cool. On the May 20th, I'll be going around to the polls and stuff like that. It's not true crime related, but I think it's cool. I hope it'll be interesting. But I'm going to go live from time to time and maybe watching the election night, as the ballots are being tabulated and we're watching the TV screen. There's a party. I'm an endorsed candidate. So there's a party we go to and everything. So I think that'll be cool. So we will see if you guys enjoy that or not. So hopefully that'll work out. We've had some crazy weather here, and I'm not complaining because I know some people. There's some talk to Tornado Alley's expanding into Ohio and some of Western Pennsylvania where I am. We had winds the other day that were pushing 80 miles an hour. Now, the storm that came through only lasted like 5 minutes. So I couldn't imagine 120, 100 miles an hour for 10, 12 hours. Our building construction wouldn't stand up to it, but there's still people without power. I still think there's about 6,000 or 7,000 people without power. That was last Tuesday. That was supposed to be the night of the debate. And again, the debate was canceled if you saw my post. There's going to be another debate next Wednesday. I don't know if it'll be televised, but I want you guys to see it all. So anything I can get on it, if I could post it, if it is live, if it's after the fact, we'll go to it. So we'll go from there. Tonight's about kind of wrapping up the Delphi case on my channel. I know we kind of hinted at that before, but I want to show you a couple exhibits and kind of take a minute too during this live and talk about maybe the state of true crime in general. It ain't just Delphi. Listen, you could say it about YouTube. I was watching videos about hanging doors because I thought it was easy, interior doors. Like I said before, it's not. It's actually extremely difficult, at least for me. And there's people arguing within those chats. So anywhere people assemble online, they're going to argue. And that's fine and that's okay. But we'll talk about that. I had talked to Ivy Push about coming on. She hasn't come up yet. I'm not sure if something came up. I know she was traveling. Or we got wires crossed or whatever. But if she comes in, that's Sarah. The channel has a channel on YouTube. She reached out to me about doing something. So, yeah. But anyways, I've messaged a few people. A lot of people were busy. I know Frosty's on vacation and fishing. If you look at any of his pictures, I don't know if that was on Facebook or YouTube, but have a good time. Hope I think you said you were coming home Wednesday. Or something like that. So I hope you're having a good time. NBA fans, I was talking to Frank Meister about this today. The spread on the Pacer game, they're getting a lot of points, and they played great. The NBA finals have been fantastic. Or the NBA playoffs have really been fantastic if you're a basketball fan. If you're an Indiana fan, I was talking to Frank too about quarterbacks and the Colts and Indiana sports. Is kind of, it's getting there. I mean, the Pacers can win the whole thing. The way that they get the ball up the court and as fast as they get the ball, that takes size away. So when you play these big teams, that takes their size away because the big man's running up a court. He needs to get down the floor and set his position on offense or defense to be a factor. And if he's running between the foul lines, as we used to say, he ain't going to get much going. But anyways, let's say hi to everyone. CJK was the first one in. Good to see you. Haven't really got to talk to anyone after the draft either. CJK, how'd you think your Chiefs did? Jill, good to see you. Rescue all the dogs. Always good to see you. Ron Logan. Can't hear him. Well, I tell you what, Ron, I'm starting to lose hearing too. I think it's from work, from the fire whistles and the fire bells, if you will. They're not really whistles anymore. Hope you can hear me, Ron. If not, turn it up. Maybe sit a little closer. Jakes, what is up? Good to see you. I'll be Frank. Good to see you, as always. Mommy Wolverine. A lot of Wolverines got drafted, huh? A lot of them. Now, a lot of Ohio State Buckeyes got drafted, but the Wolverines got drafted first. I don't know how many days it's been since Ohio State beat Michigan last. I should have it in my head. But any shot I get at taking Ohio State, I will. As a Michigan fan, if you don't know, that's Yankees, Red Sox, Steelers, Browns, Ravens, whatever you want to talk about. Everyone's popping in. Haunted Stella, good to see you. I'm going to show you a couple of exhibits that I found really interesting. Pictures. We'll watch a little bit of that interview video, and then and then start to kind of talk about the true crime in general and what's happening with people and things like that, without getting in anyone's business or anyone's fights or anyone's names or anything like that. Just the general things that I've seen happening. And I'm no Nostradamus. I'm very far from a psychologist. I'm probably borderline intelligent. I'm not even, you know what I mean? I'm not no genius or anything like that. But there was a couple of things that I was able to predict that was going to happen, and I put on video or in chat somewhere to people, and it's happened. And I'll say a couple other things that I predict, just generalizations about. It could be Delphi, because that's the kind of circuit we're in. It could be the Karen Reed case. It could be Idaho. All these cases have their players and the things that have happened. But if you look at all of them, it's very similar. You know, Delphi may be extreme on some things, but very similar. So then I always fall back on the study of human beings, right? Why do human beings act like this? It's just extremely interesting to me. I don't know about a man cave. It's a room on the second floor that Brooke's daughter, who moved to college, she lives in Philadelphia now, had. So, but it works out good for me. I got some jerseys hanging. Rockwood Street, the old street signs where we used to hang out as kids. I feel like a weatherman. Delphi Dummies, brother. That one's for you. This Penguin picture here, I went to the mall, Century 3 Mall, in 1991 after the Penguins won the Stanley Cup. And Phil Bourque and Peter Taglianetti were signing autographs and gave me that paper. The two signs, beautiful signs, Indy Archive, the great Indy Archive. He smashes everybody when it comes to views. And he has a fantastic channel, made them for me. Michigan sign, a guy got for me from work up there. Here I am. Up here near New England, there's going to be showers with a chance of ruckus and no chance of Bill Belichick. That is a banner from the Pittsburgh Pirates when they hosted the All-Star game. We went down there, me and my son, and a picture of Shaquille O'Neal, was one of my favorite players, as a Ute, if you will. If you will. Hope everyone gets all my references and all my little, yeah. Thank you, Ron. I didn't even shave. I need to shave it, actually. This is actually long hair for me. It doesn't take a lot of hair on my head to be long. But I'm on vacation. Tomorrow's my birthday, and I took Sunday off for Mother's Day. So I will be 46 tomorrow. So I'll have a nice beard by the next time I go back to work, but I won't let my head grow because I don't have what they would call a good hairline. What is up, Dave? Yeah, I posted the thing this morning, and I shared. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm glad if you set your notifications, they're working. Well, hey, to each his own. What's up, Mustang? Good to see you. Ron, are you selling possums? Aurora, good to see you. Uh-oh. David, are you in on the possum? Oh, here we are. 2 goats. 50 each. I don't know. I'm not into the goat market too much. I don't know if the prices of goats were affected by inflation or not. Raccoons are tough. I've seen them take over some houses in McKeesport. And listen, I was talking to my girlfriend about this, my fiance, and I've seen them 3 or 4 times here. Cat coons. I'm telling you, in the city of McKeesport, Pennsylvania, cats and raccoons. It isn't a widespread thing, but they're breeding somehow, and you could tell because they're a cat with a raccoon tail. I've even seen a cat with the mask and the tail, but like a cat's body. I'm telling you, in the middle of the hood at like 3 o'clock in the morning, the animals that many people maybe didn't know existed or thought are extinct are showing up in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, guys. I just don't sleep the port. Oh, wow. You heard, maybe that's what tipped off Richard Allen that he was coming to, was that pesky muffler. Well, you should be able to turn him down, Ron, so you don't have to hear Brad, his muffler, or any maybe of his potential screaming that he might be doing over there. Thank you, See-Through. Everyone's favorite narrator, Deb. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Thanks for the birthday stuff. Yep, May the 7th. A Taurus. Even when they changed the Taurus and whatever was before us, I was still good by it because it was different. I think they moved it to May 1st. I don't know a whole lot about that. All right. I think I said hi, everyone. Anyways, let me get to why I want to come here today. And again, for me, this is kind of be like a bookend for Delphi on my channel. The case to me is over. Appeals are going on. Different things like that are going on. But through the appeal thing, I haven't seen anything, and I'm not privy to anything, and I'm not privy to like the backdoor stuff, really, the politics of the side who believes Richard Allen is not guilty. So I couldn't tell you what's going on there, but I haven't seen anything new that they're going to bring out, right? Nothing new. So we'll see how that plays out. But again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't want to comment too much on something I don't know about, but hasn't been anything new. I still wonder. Here's what I wonder now. I'm convinced he did it. I think he was tried. The police investigation was less than perfect, and it took too long. And, I wish they would have came out and said something at the end, even if it was Doug Carter, even a retired Doug Carter speaking for the ISP. Hey, listen, this didn't work out right. Initially, we did this and this and that. We made this. We learned from our mistakes, but at the end of the day, we got the right guy. And he's in jail forever. At the end of the day, I'd like to see something like that, but it's not my state. I don't work for the ISP. I'm not the governor. I'm not anything like that, the DA or anything. So I think that would be good, but it's not necessary. As long as the families feel, hey, this is a good verdict. This is what we were looking for. Boom. And they could try to move on. I think that some people in the family has moved on better than some YouTubers have. Some YouTubers have clinged to things, have dug deeper, have tried, various schemes and things, with different other YouTubers, really wild stuff. And it's, I think they're grasping at straws. But this is a free platform and it's a free country. So I'm not going to knock anyone for doing that. That's their channel. And if there's an audience for that, there's a big audience for that. People like to hear the theory, the conspiracy things, just throwing things against the wall without any proof. It draws viewers in. I understand that. I just choose not to watch them. I'm not going to knock them. Again, free country, free platform. You do what you want. But when I do hear some of the rumors and things like that, you just sit back like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I mean, it's just, some of it's absolute lunacy. But one of the things that I thought was going to happen is there would be a point where people that thought just call them pro Richard Allen, innocent people would turn on the attorneys. Rozzi and Baldwin, we hit that stage a little while ago. That's continuing. Like if somebody ever says he did it, even if Kathy Allen were to say that one day, I'm not ever saying that she's going to say that, but if she would, they would attack her. I think if Richard Allen would come out and say that he did it, they would attack him or say, oh, no, he's doped up. Some people are never going to be able to drop this. That's not really, doesn't involve me. So I'll let that go to what they need to do. And it's a free channel. It's a free platform. Maybe there's a few, I think it's a very, very few, a very low percentage that truly think that he's innocent, totally innocent. And in their heart of hearts doing the right thing. The other people are just they're working their way in and they're getting what they can out of it, or they enjoy the interaction like I do. They're no different to me in that. So it's not always about money, but coming on YouTube and having people to talk to and bounce things off, and it's cool. It's really cool. But what you need to do is once something's over, you got to go somewhere else. You're not going to continue to plant crops on ground that is just gone. All the nutrients are gone. It hasn't rained. It's like a sand out there. You can't keep planting. They're not going to grow. So I'm jumping onto something else. One of the things we'll be talking about is the Rex Huerman situation. There's some mind-blowing things in there with him. What a sick son of a bitch he was. And there's a serial killer operating in New England right now. I don't know if you heard anything about that, but you can Google it. And it appears to be a legitimate, the numbers kind of 5, 7, 4. I've heard a couple of different things. But there is a serial killer operating in that area right now. Flora, I've been sharing things for Flora recently. I always want to keep that up. We can keep putting pressure on, but someone has to come forward. Someone has to say something. You can only watch that tape and break it apart so many times. You can look at them pictures so many times. Multiple people have asked me in probably the past 2 months for all my Flora stuff, and I've sent it to everybody. I didn't judge what they were like or what I thought they were or anything like that. They said, hey, I want to help. I truly want to help with this. And here you go. So I sent them everything that I could send them out to it. But let me jump up here. Whoa, we have Ivy Push just popped in. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't know. She could hear us. I've just been opening up and BSing, really. I haven't done a whole lot. But Sarah is coming up here. Like a few of you, she was at trial quite a bit. So let's bring her aboard. Hello.
Hi,
everybody. How are you?
Hi, everybody, you guys. How's everybody doing?
Everybody's hanging in there. A lot of people, about 40 people in chat. Everyone's BSing. Just talking about general stuff opening up here. I didn't get into anything yet. But like you were at the trial and stuff like that. But one of the things I want to do, I want to show a couple exhibits, and I have a little bit of one of the interviews to play. But most of my people, I think, know who you are, or they're probably on your page. Could you turn your background down a little bit?
Yeah.
Can you turn your background down a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. Does that help?
Yes. Okay, good. We're good. So
I'm to turn you up on my main one.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. But if you would, Sarah, for those that don't know you, we don't need your life story or your social security number or anything like that, but how you're affiliated with Indiana, going back and forth and stuff like that, and what it was like to go to trial. I don't mean like individual pieces of evidence, but what was it like getting up, going every morning, emotionally draining, highs and lows? Like, talk about that a little bit. What was it like getting up, going every morning, emotionally draining, highs and lows? Like, talk about that.
Well, it wasn't always, I went to all the hearings except for a couple. I would say the pre-trial seemed more intense than the trial itself did.
Oh, wow.
There was a lot more information given out at the pre-trial by the people that testified versus how short a time they spent on the stand during the trial. But Judge Gohl had ruled that information that had happened during pre-trial could come in as a whole during the trial. So documents that were represented then came in. So they didn't have to repeat a lot of that. Emotionally, it was hard, of course, to see the families. You became very close to both these girls' families over the years. We've been there since like the 14th, the day they found him. We started and we pushed and pushed all we could as far as awareness and keeping that case out front. And I think besides the family, I really felt for the jurors that had to sit there and see what they saw. And then the aftermath of the trial itself, I found where I had to back away and not get on YouTube and not listen to the negativity part of it because we do live in the United States. We do have a system of justice. And Richard Allen is going through that process. And unfortunately, those two little, my personal opinion is my personal opinion, and so anybody else is entitled to theirs. But every bit of the evidence that I seen, and even the third party evidence that they tried to admit during the pretrial, there was nothing there to connect that third party they wanted to.
Absolutely. We have a little bit of a lag. So after you get done talking, just wait like a couple of seconds. I'll do my best to do that, but I'm a big yapper. But I agree with you there. And one of the other things too, like people are willing to stake their reputations. Richard Allen's innocent. And listen, if in their heart of hearts they believe that, then go for it. But he never offered an alibi. That troubles me. Never. He never offered an alibi.
The strange thing that got me with that was he had 3 attorneys, and those attorneys kind of were like, the main one seemed to be Rossi was appointed first chair, but he actually was very theatrical in the courtroom, where and then the other one seemed more fatherly or gentle, with the coaching and putting his arm around Richard Allen. And the female, she would have been a little pit bull if she could have got away with it during the court proceedings.
You would think, though, for a defense attorney, like the pit bull thing's okay. I understand that, but to me, I mean, the defense offered, whether they leaked it, whether it was Frank's memos, some very, hard to believe explanations for this crime, but they would never offer an alibi to where he was during that time. And to me, if they weren't doing that, then there must be something that could blow it away. Your volume went way up again. If they weren't doing that, then there must be something to blow it away. Your volume went way up again.
Is it? Is it now?
Hold on, let me talk and listen back.
I'm gonna give me an earphone.
We're good. Yeah.
I'm gonna give me an earphone.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you look at my wall for a minute. I'm gonna get your phone and put it in my ear so you don't hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just give her a quick mute while she does that. So hopefully we got the little tech thing figured out. I am going to, yeah, I think that's what it was. So she would have to get rid of the YouTube, or even if she would just mute it. I know I had an issue one time where I had YouTube open on my phone and in the background, and it was acting all wonky on me. So we'll get her back here. Let me unmute you. Okay, you're unmuted now.
Well, I'm gonna yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't hear anything now. Deb
Gotcha.
mentioned this. If you see the comment about being in YouTube and StreamYard, I don't understand any of that stuff, but I can hear you good now. I don't hear any echoes now. So if I can now, I'm going to pull up some pictures, some exhibits. I'll say a little something about each one. And if you could say whatever you want to about it, but
I've got it shut down. Well, I got it shut down. So.
Oh, so you're not gonna be able to see the pictures then? No, they're gonna be on the screen here that we're looking at, I think. Let me know. But what I want to do is talk real quick. There's not too many of them, but if you remember in court when they showed this particular picture or whatever, what you thought, what maybe the jury's reaction to pictures, if you remember that stuff. Okay, that sounds awesome. Give me 1 second here to hit my share screen. I have my trusty old email pulled up.
Gotcha.
And I have a few different ones I sent to myself, and we'll look at these first. And let me see if I can make that bigger. This one was just interesting to me. I just saw this recently. They'll not let me make it any bigger. Well, anyways, let me read this to you. Going through exhibits on someone's Discord, they have all the exhibits, and I read this and I thought this was very strange. I want to talk about it real fast. These were things that were taken. Bag with strand of hair material from Abby's right hand. Bag with strand of material taken from Abby's left arm. A swab inside Libby's left wrist. But those two issues, 149 and 150. Hair. Let me tell you something. I now live with Brooke and two of her daughters. I can't tell you how many times I find long strands of hair in my t-shirts, in socks after doing the laundry. And guess where it ain't coming from? It ain't coming from me. So I just wanted to point that out, that it wasn't, people were saying she had hair clutched in the hand like she pulled it out of someone's hair. That just simply isn't true. And especially if with wet hair, as the girls here explained to me, again, I don't have to worry about that. With wet hair, your hair is more apt to stick in sweatshirts and things like that. And I will let you talk about that, Sarah, because you know more about female hair than I do. All right. Okay, the next thing we're looking at here is some of the collection of the knives.
Okay, so the picture you're showing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to talk about the hair?
Talk about the hair real quick, and then if you have something on this picture too, just in general about the hair, because I never thought of that till I started washing hair in a house with three women. So, but go ahead, please. We might have a really good lag going now.
Right. The hair was actually in Abby's hand. And the hair come back to a female, which they hadn't tested it. Yeah, there's a really long lag.
Do you want to?
And it turned out
jump out and jump back in?
Kelsey's hair they had tested shortly before the trial. But if you remember right, Abby was in the clothes that Libby. Yeah, you want me to jump back in?
Yeah, if you would, yeah. And hopefully that'll take care of this. Thank you, Frank and Jinx. I'm actually going to talk about this at the end here. Next Tuesday, we're going to do a members only.
Okay.
Another members only. But yeah, if Sarah, if you want to jump out and jump back in, hopefully this fixes it. And this is like turning it on and turning it off and turning it back on. But it's worked before for YouTube. But Sarah brings good insight being at the trial. And I would like to get, somebody in the courtrooms in impression of this evidence as it came out, if they remember. I bet you people remember things like this, because it is even jolting for people that were just there, observing. Find Libby shoe hidden drive quote from Kelsey. The other shoe in the creek. Third shoe found under Abby. I don't think there was 3 shoes. Let me read it. For finds Libby's shoe hidden. Oh, by the hidden drive quote from Kelsey. Yeah. I don't know. I read that quote and I thought for a long time that quote was a true quote. I don't know if I've ever seen it published anywhere in court or anything like that. But I think that those, there was only 2 shoes, not 3. But I know the quote you're talking about. And for sure. And a lot of people took that kind of as gospel for a long time, myself included. Deb on it as always. But let me get that name up again. Sorry. She's coming back up. Give me 1 second. We're all over the place here. All right. Fingers crossed we'll work this time. All right. How about now? Still lagging. Or you muted? You're up there, Sarah.
How does it sound now?
It sounds good. Can you hear me right away?
Yeah, it's still lagging. I think it's something with StreamYard.
Do you have your YouTube opened at all? Deb is saying to
no, there's a long lag.
Yeah, Deb's saying here to turn off your YouTube and just listen through StreamYard.
Oh,
I don't think she
hold on.
means delete it. I think she just means close it, but I don't know.
Oh, let me try something.
Just yeah, I don't know.
Okay, let me close this out all the way. Let me shut my phone off.
Okay, whenever you come back, just pop back
Okay,
up. I'll get you
let's
in.
see if I can.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'll put you on mute real quick. But I want to get her impression too. These are some knives that were found, some things that were found at the house. Yeah, there's a box cutter in there. Who knows, right? Who absolutely knows? I'm sure they took all these things, they checked them for DNA. Is it possible to clean these things totally DNA? I think if you take them apart, maybe, but it'd be very, very difficult to have use these in a crime like that and not have any DNA on it. So I don't think necessarily that any of these were necessarily involved, but the police, they don't know that as they go in there. Check back on Sarah. Still figuring it out. We had that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you good. Can you hear me, or we still have that big lag? I think we still have that big lag, unfortunately. Guys are buying memberships. Thank you, Jinx. I'll be frank. You guys are fantastic. Yeah, Sarah, I think we just have a big lag here tonight. If you can hear me. See-through, yes. Initially, the hair wasn't tested until, I don't think, that's probably might have been right before the trial started. I don't know, Sarah, if you could comment on that, if our lag isn't too bad. I think we have about an 8-second lag. I just don't think our satellites are linking up tonight right. We'll give her a second. But see-through, yeah, I believe so. I don't even know if she could hear me at all now. But here's what I believe, and here's what I'm pretty sure of. That yes, they found out that it was hers. People were saying, oh, they have this hair that was pulled out. It wasn't pulled out. Well, we were explaining how easy it is to get hair there. But the hair in the hand, and let me go back to this, taken from the list, is what they talked about. Strand of hair, Abby's right hand, big strand of hair, Abby's left arm. So this is, what we knew we were talking about was in Abby's hand. Yeah, I don't know if if I misread that before, but the hair was definitely in Abby's hand. It was definitely Kelsey's hair. And she had the sweatshirt on, the Delphi swimming sweatshirt that was Liberty's. So I don't know if Sarah can hear me at all anymore, or if she's still working on stuff. I'm going to just mute her while she goes through that and hopefully figures it out. So I hope that's a good answer for you, see-through. But that's how I understand it too, yes. Now, do the police wish they could go back and test that hair from the door, even though they could tell it was a female? I'm sure that they do, and I'm sure that they should have. But they didn't. But for people to take that and say, oh, there's evidence at the crime scene, there was a lot of other DNA I'm sure on those girls from their homes, different things like that they were able to rule out. So it is what it is. And it's an outside crime scene. And Richard Allen, there's no DNA at the crime scene. It's an outside crime scene. And I posted statistics before that, not that many percentage of cases actually have usable DNA evidence that they use. This isn't like TV. You can look those stats up for yourself too. JJ, it's good to see you. All right, let's try Sarah one more time. Sarah, can you hear me? And do we have a lag still? If we have a big lag, we'll have to figure this out and do it again. I still have some more things I want to show you. I don't know if she can hear me at all anymore. technologically savvy as I am, again, the gun, the SIG, they tested other people's SIGs. We know that they tested Weber's SIG. They kept his for quite a while. I know that. I don't know how many others they tested. So people initially, one of the other things was, the bullet was found 2 weeks later. Bullet was found that day. Now the bullet was found, as they explained, when they were kind of doing like the luminol testing or looking for like blood or whatever, and it shined, but it was there, right? So this wasn't 2 weeks later. That was one of the things that's tagged and bagged. I don't even have the pictures of the bullets for you because I don't know anything about back end or front end forensics, gun forensics, ballistics, anything like that. So I just wanted to show you a picture if you haven't seen it yet. Yaha! What happened there? I don't know. Let me move on to the next one. And then I want to show you some of the interview, just a 4-minute clip or so of the video. Okay, the cell phones, again, all these cell phones. Is that uncommon? No, I don't think it's that uncommon. Look at some of these phones. Look how old some of these phones are. Maybe they're pack rats. Maybe they keep stuff or things like that. But you keep all these phones, but you don't have the phone that you had at that time of the murders, right? Doesn't mean that you did it. It doesn't mean that you're guilty. But like, whoa, wait a second. Write that down. Put that off to the side. You don't have that phone, okay? I don't understand it, but hey, it is what it is. But these were the phones.
The phones.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Sarah? Can you hear me? I could hear you. I don't know if she could hear me. But that was an example in case you hadn't seen the pictures of the phones. Again, the phone that he had that day, that if he's at home, can't the phone tie to the Wi-Fi somewhere and say that he's there at that spot at that time? Why didn't their attorney say that? I never understood that. I never got an explanation for that. To be perfectly honest, never got an explanation from the prosecution either of how come we're able to track this and this on his phone. But yeah, a long time ago thought that it was going to be a burner phone that he had that day. I still believe that he had some type of device about tracking the girls. I don't think it was a random thing. I still say that. He never said it, but there was something. I don't know what. I'm not saying the Kleins are involved or anyone else, but I don't know. But he was using one for some type of reason. This was the garage that was in question here. And it's exhibit KKK. Great job, Indiana. And there's some people were saying about a thing on the ground here. It could be a rune or something like that, but I don't see it. But this is the example of things that people will take. And first of all, I couldn't even tell if that was really a stick or if that's like some runoff from the car or something. It looks like be a stick here and this and that. But, we'll just take a picture like this and just, kind of go hog wild with it. And, when you look at the more conceivable, the more believable stuff and any evidence, it's just, to me, it all lines up. It just all lines up. So this is the box. I talked about this box a lot in my different YouTubes and stuff like that. This was the box that things were found in. This box was kept in a place of prominence. This is where he had this bullet at that matched the others, or matched the bullet that was found. They were able to put those together and say, yes, these came from the same batch, the same situation. This picture I find very interesting because as soon as I looked at this picture, I remember talking with people about the young bridge guy sketch and the curly hair. Richard Allen never had curly hair. Well, I'll tell you what, if you could put your finger on your screen of your phone and cover up that beard and even just cover him up from the mouth down, and you look up at that, and again, the person that's seeing him that's saying he's younger is who? Betsy. She's older. Okay. Everything skews younger. I'm 40. I'll be 46 tomorrow. If I see a kid that's maybe 20 years, that's 25 years old, I might say he's 18 years old because it's going to skew younger. Sarah, can you hear me? I don't think she could hear me. I could hear her though. If you're hearing me on,
I can hear you.
Okay, so our delays. Let's see how long our delay is. Tell me when you hear me.
We're gonna have to just have a little delay.
Okay, so it's about 5 seconds.
I can hear you.
Okay. So
this picture here, the picture of him, go back to the picture of him. This was presented to him was during the time his daughter was on the stand.
what was the thing at the end of his daughter when they asked his daughter something and she said one thing, but a few other people said she said something crazy? Do you remember what that comment was? Oh, man.
They were going through photos. That's how they got the photos of him from 2017.
Okay. Do you remember, like, they asked her, like, do you love your dad? And then they said someone in a jury yelled, I think that's what it was, let him answer. But it wasn't a juror, it was an attorney. Will you clear that up?
Yes, it was an attorney. It was an attorney. And it was when Diener was questioning her. And that's how they got the photos of Richard Allen in, was through her. And her testimony was very limited because she was called by the defense. So what they could ask of her was very limited, but they worked the photos in because there was a photo of her and him, and there was a remark made about her and him walking on the bridge together.
And I have a couple.
Then she said, we weren't the only ones that walked that bridge.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard that. So almost defending him in a way.
No, she looked at him very briefly, and you could see a tear in her eye. She didn't even sit with her mother out in the hallway.
Yeah. I mean, they're not victims, you know, and I know people feel different about Kathy. I think Kathy was manipulated in this situation. And people could say, how could you not know that's your husband? Maybe something in your mind says, I know that that's him, but he's assuring you he controls the situation. You know, he handles everything. Leave it to him. This is the way it's been. And, you know, maybe one day she'll come to the realization, but I really don't put a lot of blame on her. And I put zero blame on his daughter. I can't imagine. She's a different kind of victim in this case, Richard's daughter, I think.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's the box. This is a prominent thing. We all have these at our house, right? Some kind of situation like this where you have old, you know, cards from funerals, or I keep my badge, for work, for Class A uniform, stuff like that. And one bullet that happens to match another bullet that's at a crime scene in this beautiful box at a place of prominence where it's stored. Sarah, do you remember this day in court when these pictures came about?
Yes. And it was Detective, I believe, Detective Vito was on the stand.
I'm reading some of the comments here. All right. Yeah, that I just found that interesting. And in case you wondered, I think the next picture should be the next picture. If it's in order, I email them in order to myself. So if they're not in order, we need to complain to Gmail. But that's the little bullet there. Of course, it's not in order. I jinxed myself. No offense, Jinx. Not only did I jinx myself, it didn't look like I said it in general. Hold on a second. It must be in the next thing. But that's the little bullet there, right here. Okay. And that's, you know, pictures. Like, look at these things. That is a graduation.
Over in the corner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
graduation for notice. These look like maybe cards, handwritten notes. So these things in this are very important to him. I have one of these, and I have my top sock drawer. I have a bunch of stuff in there too. That's like a guy thing, I think. Every guy has something like that at home, or something where you have a bunch of stuff in there. Maybe
Yeah.
a golf ball or golf tees too. I put in mine, but yeah. And Sarah, we think that this is Bridge Guy's coat, correct?
I believe so. But you can also get blue coats like that are off brand, that are like Carhartts, but from Kmart. I mean Walmart, and they're a lot cheaper.
Yeah, yeah. And again, and people will say, well, a lot of people in Indiana have this coat. I would disagree with them and say that everyone in Indiana probably has this coat. But again, I mean, it's not this individual thing. Hey, the guy has the same coat as Bridge Guy. It's everything that you put together cumulatively. You stack it up and you say, Richard, just tell us where you were. And he can't, right? That's how I feel, Sarah. I don't know if you feel that way. It's just added up.
It was okay. Now these pictures here of the bridge, they were in the box inside the little keepsake bike.
So they mean a lot to him.
That bridge means a lot to him for some reason.
I agree wholeheartedly.
They weren't dated. The pictures weren't dated.
Again, these are the little pictures that he had in there. And then I don't think I have pictures of them, Sarah, but didn't he have pictures of the bridge? I don't know. Was this hanging in a room here? Or do you remember?
They were in his little, some of them were in that little box.
Taken April 5th, 2008. Yeah. And this is for those who haven't been here before. This
but
is
there were several different photos.
Oh, okay. So I'll go back from what I was saying. So there was more pictures than even the ones that I showed here tonight.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. I'll have to go back and try to look for those too. So he's clearly into the bridge for whatever reason. All right. So Sarah, next I just took a
was that a murder scene? Because
about a 4-minute clip out of the look at my view history. I got Eric the actor is the right way to say it. Mick Foley, Hell in a Cell. I don't know what the hell that guy is, what kind of tank that is, in a channel that makes fun of Steven Seagal. You want to know what Coach Kev watches on YouTube? There you go. But I'm going to play this video, Sarah. I'll stop it after every couple, minute or so. It's about 4 minutes long. And just tell me what your thoughts are. I picked this specifically because this is where they talk about she says to him, you didn't tell me you were on the bridge that day. And he just totally, he's like, kind of gets away from it. But I think it's interesting. I think that she believes that he did it at this point. And the police laid it out in front of her. She was intimidated by them. So maybe that's why. I don't know, but it's telling to me because she, you're at the scene of a double child murder and you don't tell your wife that you were on that bridge. Babe, I was on that bridge. How'd I miss the guy? Right?
That, and you got to remember, she is in another room with Detective Vito.
Oh, Meshuggah. Yes. So he's working her. He's working her in that other room. Excuse me. No question.
and this out of all the video, this really struck me hard.
The part him talking to Kathy, just in general.
And her reaction and his reaction, yeah.
You feel empathy or bad for Kathy? I do.
No, I
No.
feel after I met her on Market Street on August 28th, I have no empathy for her. None.
Well, that's fair too. Like, I understand people that say that, and I hope people understand where I come from and just be okay. Like, hey, on this particular point, we disagree, and that's perfectly fine. But again, I've never interacted with her personally, so
Yeah.
See through. That's one of the
Her
things.
the mother, I definitely do.
That's one of the things I want to point out. See through. Yeah, his mother. Yeah, and she have like a medical where she fell or something too. Like, that's just terrible. That just sucks.
Yeah, she took a fall off the side of the sidewalk.
Ooh.
And she's on blood thinners. Well, of course, you know that what happens there. And
Man, yeah.
she did a face plant onto the concrete.
Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible. Want to say what's up to Sleuth popping in. Always great to see you. Louise, Haunted Stella. I don't know if I said hi to everyone before. Batman.
Hi, everybody.
I don't know, Batman. Now, here's the thing. Like, so let's say that I have, just for me, for example, I have my box on my dresser. I don't think my fiance would ever go in there unless I asked her to. There's not like a lock on it, and there's nothing bad in it, but it would be like a private thing. So I could see her not going in it, or even if she saw a bullet in there. You know, this is the relatively rural Indiana. Every guy out there, every gal out there, for the most part, probably has some kind of weapon or a gun, and I'm okay with that. Pennsylvania's the same way. Whether you're in the inner city or in the sticks, everyone has guns here. So it is what it is. But all right, Frank Meister is here. What is up, Frank?
Fuse. Yep.
I know Frank's going back and forth between his pacer game. Okay, so I'm going to play this here. We'll stop it after every so often.
No.
And we'll see what everybody thinks.
It didn't happen. I didn't even have my gun that day.
Could we hear this, everyone?
You know this isn't something I could do. And I know that you know that. You don't have to tell me that. I know.
I always thought that was strange the way he talks. You know that I know that you know that you know. Like, hold on there, Houdini. It's just it's an odd way to say things, but it's him. He's exerting control over her, in my opinion. That's what one of the experts said. I know some of the experts said different things, but if you watch those shows where they say Richard Allen's innocent, they really don't say that. They say it's inconclusive. One guy says that he's guilty, but I think that he's like, it's just a weird way. Like, I couldn't imagine talking to someone. I know that you know that I know. Like, it's odd. It's a little bit odd, I think. So, anything so far, Sarah, in the first 35 seconds?
Right. And if you notice, he doesn't look at her in the face. He doesn't look at her in her eyes when he's saying those things.
That's an interesting point, and I could go back to Dr. G on this. He does look her eyes at one point, and I'm going to show you that, because he, in my opinion, he knows that he's not lying, and that's later in the video. But I'm glad I was going to bring that up anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I'm appealing to, my fiance about something, like, I'm dead in the eye. Like, babe, we are out of A1. What do we do? Like, I'm making a joke, but I'm like, you get it. But A1's a big deal. All right, we play on.
They really think I did this. And they want me to believe that I know you know I didn't do this. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't know what they're trying to do here, but I'm not gonna say something that's not true, and I can't explain something that I don't understand. The only way for me to explain it is that I don't know,
Rory, yes.
because I'm saying it's not possible. There's no way that a bullet from my gun ended up at a murder scene. I didn't murder anybody. I didn't help somebody murder anybody. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and try to convince you. I know you know me. I know you know that I didn't do this. Had anything to do with it. Talk about scheming or something.
Yeah, I don't. Don't know how did a bullet from your gun get out there?
I don't know.
Because they said it came from our gun.
I know that's what they believe me. That's what they're telling me.
But how did it get there?
I don't know.
They said there was one in your box above your dresser that matched it.
They showed me that picture too. I can't explain it. And I don't.
I can't either. They keep asking me, and I don't know how to answer that.
You
There's no
answer
way
it.
for me to know.
I understand. Me either. And that's what I'm trying to tell them. You want to keep asking me, and I just keep telling you I can't explain it. I don't know how to explain something that isn't possible. But I know, this is what I do know. I know that no bullet.
I want to stop it right here because I want to talk about what was said thus far. And as you see, he's looking at her in the eyes right now. We know it's coming up next if you watch this video enough. But so Sarah, that little 1 minute and 20 seconds, anything on that you want to add or that you saw or found interesting?
Okay, so what I found interesting here, he's trying to convince her about the gun, which he's looking at her. He knows a gun wasn't used to kill these girls.
You got it.
He's looking at her and he knows, and he's telling her the truth. You didn't find, not my gun. I didn't use a gun, but you got to remember, he likely racked it and forgot he racked it on the bridge. And then likely when he either saw the van or heard Libby's dad arriving, he re-racked that gun and that bullet shot out to the right.
Yeah, I agree that's how there was something, the racking on a bridge, and then there was some other attempt to control the girls. What happened, I'm not sure. We might never know unless he comes out and says it. But I wholeheartedly agree that there was another attempt to control them for whatever reason, to move them, to subdue them, whatever it was. And then he didn't carry with one in the chamber. Obviously, some people do, some people don't. I know a lot of cops do. They carry one in the chamber.
Right.
Maybe people that are more adept with weapons. Right. I have a pistol and a shotgun in my house. I don't carry outside. I'm not the toughest dude on the corner, but I'll do what I got to do for as long as I can till help arrives.
I carry, right. Well, I carry one in the chamber, but it's, I want it ready.
But you're comfortable. You're comfortable with it though.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But here he's just trying to convince her that no gun was used.
Yeah. Well, this again, Dr. G pointed
he's being truthful.
Yeah. I didn't find this myself. If you watch the video from Dr. G, I encourage it. A lot of people were ripping him after that. And there was other people, like I watched the guy that was on the Defense Diaries, former BAU guy, smarter than a whip. I watched the video and he doesn't say Richard Allen's innocent. He's like, well, it's kind of like indistinguishable, can go either way. So what was attempted there to throw these people up to say, hey, this looks wonky. These people weren't actually saying that, but you can watch them. Batman put up, Sarah, before I play the rest of this video, would he have noticed one missing after he had gotten home? if he would have taken the clip out, yeah. Would he have taken the clip out? I don't know. I think he would have noticed at some point, but what could he have done? He couldn't went back there, right? Or did he go back there
At some
and
point.
look for it? It's odd. What do you think? You think he ever went back to that spot?
I do not think he went. I think he went back well afterwards. I don't think he went back while the bodies were there. No.
Do you think he went back for evidence, or to go back to be one of them sick relive the moment things that we know that killers do? Some.
I think I'm going to just take a break here from during the trial when the pictures were being shown of the scene and it depicted the girls. He would get to the edge of his seat and rock himself like he was comforting himself or reliving what those photos were showing.
Wow. Self-soothing is what they call that. And again, I study it quite a bit. I'm not in any way a psychiatrist or anything like that, but his fight or flight is peaked, and then you self-soothe when your fight or flight is peaked. I hope everyone, there's primal issues within us. We're animals. When it's all said and done, there's things that we can't stop from happening to us unless we're trained to stop those things from happening primarily. So, all right. That's that stuff very interesting to me. That's one of the things that I couldn't make about there for court, but to look at to study people, to watch how they acted at certain things, even the jurors, to like look at a juror and try to say, well, hey, I think this guy's going to vote guilty or this gal is going to vote innocent or whatever, whether I'm right or not, but try to make predictions based on their behavior. I just think that's so interesting to me. Like, oh, I love it.
It was quite shocking to see him rocking like it was almost like it was an enjoyment, like it was comforting him, but he was also, there'd be periods of time he would tear up yellow Post-it notes and chew them up and swallow them, I guess. I don't know. I never saw him spit them out.
You didn't see him shooting any spitballs at Judge Gall or Slick Nick?
No, actually, whenever court wasn't in session and he would stand up, one thing that really got me during the trial was he was dressed, all but 1 or 2 days, he was dressed in the teal color or the purple color that were Libby and Abby's colors. That kind of bothered me. He paid a lot of attention to his wife, who was sitting behind him and to his right, but he would get angry when he would see Bob Mata talking with her, getting up and walking out of the courtroom with her, and he would get very upset.
I'd probably be upset too. I don't agree with Bob Mata on Delphi, but he's kind of a suave customer, if you will. I know he's married, but that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, he was bad.
Well, you know what? He doesn't have power at that point. There's another guy talking to his woman, and I don't think Bob Mata had any ill intentions, maybe representing her in court, but there was no romantic moves being put on, but that could have pissed him off to high hell. And it could also affect things that they do after with access to people and stuff like that he could have said, hey, I don't want you around Mata no more, but I'm okay with other people. But I'm not going to try to guess what's going on in those worlds because everything's all like this right now, like a Manson parole video or something.
I don't, you're right. They're all imploding on each other right now. And it's like, I'm staying off of it because let them implode.
Yeah, it's, and again, YouTube's a free platform. People have their channels. I'm not calling anyone out or knocking anyone. You do what you want to do. I just choose not to watch it. Have at it though. It's free country, free platform. Go for it. I'm going to play the rest of this video, Sarah. There's about a minute and 10 seconds
Yep.
left. But again, where we left off, folks, Sarah brought up very early in the video about him not making eye contact. He makes very, very valid eye contact here. Very strong. Dr. G, I don't know his real name. Dr. G is not really going to give you a precise search on YouTube, but Dr. G YouTube or Delphi is the video that you would like to watch, what I'm talking about.
From my gun was connected with a murder in any way, shape, or form. And there's no way a bullet from my gun would have been near Abby and Libby's murder or anything else, because I never even seen those girls. Period. And I didn't even have my gun that day. So
real quick, might be nothing, I might be stretching, but he calls them Libby and Abby. He's never met him before. I don't know in that situation if you should say the girls are this, but he's very interpersonal with them, with Kathy. I don't know if he ever mentions that I heard Libby and Abby with the police. It's the girls.
Yep.
Just a sidebar. I could be incorrect on that, though.
that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to make that any clearer. I don't know how to make that any clearer. I don't know how to make somebody understand. I get what he's saying. I don't have a way to explain it.
And they're like, there's a witness that said it was you out there.
Dear, I don't
And
know
I'm
what.
like, how did they know it was you? And so they said they showed her a picture. And I'm like, of course.
So people have talked about this a couple times. Were the police lying? If none of the witnesses said, hey, it was Richard Allen. That's certainly possible. And I don't know if we know this for sure, Sarah, but what they probably did was showed the picture of Bridge Guy to them and said, was this the guy that you saw? What do you think, Sarah? Do you have a direct answer for that, or is that open for interpretation?
That is what they showed them, was the picture that they pulled off of Libby's phone. It was a still photo made of the 43-second video. And while we're on this real quick, there's no more video. It's only 43 seconds long. During the trial, there was 3 versions of the video. There was the original, there was an enhanced, and then there was a super enhanced. And so when they got that shot of him, that's what the girls described seeing. So also, if you noticed, he says he understands what they're talking about. He don't know how to not explain it away, but he just can't explain it away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately he can't explain it away because it was him. But I get what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, let's finish up
But
this
watch
here.
the interaction between the two when she gets up to leave.
I don't know if I go that far, Sarah. I took a clip and we only have 17 seconds left. But talk about, because I don't think that's on here, but if other people want to go and watch these videos,
Oh, okay.
talk about what you want them to look for in that interaction if they watch it after this live's over here in a few minutes.
Okay, go. I'll let you go. I'll let you go ahead and play it out.
Okay.
Of course you were out there.
If they see me out there, they see me out there, dear. And I told
Were you
them.
on the bridge?
I told them I was on the bridge. I went out to the first trestle.
Oh, okay.
That first
I
thing.
don't remember you telling me that. It's weird.
So there's the end of that. We'll pull you back up there. I think that one of the, sometimes the captions are wrong. I think what she says there, to me, it's clear. I don't remember you telling me that. It's not, I remember you telling me that. And if you set up the context of the way that the sentence was done.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
All right. So,
And
oh, go ahead.
then when there's a little bit of back and forth there, but when she gets up to leave the room and Holman comes back and they're going to give her, he wants to give her a hug, but she makes a distance between them as pretty good. She won't lean into him. Also, during that time, he reminds her, if they try to pin this on you, you get an attorney and you won't get in trouble.
You know, I don't believe she had anything to do with it. And I don't think that she tried to hide anything or something like that. I think that he kind of, was mentally controlling and had power over her, and she would believe whatever he told her, in my opinion.
Yep.
So we are about
I agree.
We're about the hour 11 mark, and I usually keep it to about an hour, and there's a lot of basketball to watch tonight. But I really appreciate you having you on tonight. What's next for you for IV Push? And looking at any cases, still working Delphi? Like, what are you looking to do next? What's happening?
Well, we just got back from Key West. We've been down there for 16 months. So there is a cold case, several cold cases in our county, and I'm going to work with our detectives and see about just going through the paperwork and seeing if I see something that they haven't picked up on.
Well, that's really cool. You have hopefully, good access or know somebody, but I think good cops don't mind people like us on YouTube as long as we're not lunatics. At the end of the day, if you see something they don't see, that's my Flora stuff.
No.
Like, I want to send the Flora stuff to everybody because there's something in there that I'm not missing. So I want 100 people to look at it.
I know.
That's really cool. Hopefully you'll be able to, have some cool news or help out, or maybe even, I always like to hear cops that are investigating cases on, even if they can't talk about the case, talk about the methodology, and just, I always think that that's really cool.
Yes.
So maybe you could do something like that on your YouTube or your Facebook group or whatever. And what's your Facebook? The Facebook's still up and running good, right? The Facebook group?
Yes.
You want to say the group's name here in case people want to join?
Right now we have the Flora girls, and it's the Flora girls right now. It's for the Flora girls. But we realize, after I've talked to a couple people, mom's needing a deep breath, and through a couple contacts, I know they're going down a path right now, and I can't really say a whole lot, but if they charge somebody, they're looking at 4 charges of felony murder, because in the act of arson, which is a felony, death occurred. So they have to charge them the same as what they would the Delphi girls, as Libby and Abby.
Well, hopefully something's happening there. And as Jinx put up, Kathy has all the stuff on the Flora website. You go to the Flora website to get it, or email me, kevlar148@gmail.com. I'll send anyone everything I have. And again, so Sarah's thing started with a Delphi group. That's how I got in it. And then they've turned their attention to help get out information with Flora too. They'll still share Delphi updates and stuff like that. But I just think the awareness and just spreading the awareness for Flora to let people know about it. I don't know what else we can do as far as digging into evidence or watching videos, but videos that we make get in front of the right people. Somebody feels bad, somebody talks.
That somebody's going to eventually talk, and I think they have. I do want to make sure that people understand that the Flora girl's mother has been helping with law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
She's not part of what happened. So people need to understand that. Take the eyes off of her. It's easy to understand. I mean, to throw her under the bus. Also, real quick on Richard Allen. He is going through the appeals process in Indiana. He has 3 different sets of appeals. This first one he's going through, no new evidence will come into play. He doesn't even appear at the hearings. It is argued before usually three judges, and it's all done by motions and paperwork and anything that happened during the pre-trial events, pre-trial and trial.
Thank you, Honeybee. Yep, I'll be
And he will not get.
No,
But
go ahead.
thanks
Go
a
ahead.
lot.
No, go ahead there. Did you get one? Honeybee gifted 5 memberships. You get one.
I don't think he will. I don't think he'll win an appeal on this at all.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get too much into the court stuff. Unless something crazy happens with the case, or one day my hope is that Richard Allen does make statements, or no matter how terrible it is, anyone within the family, hey, put this on tape for you. Maybe Mike Patty wants to hear it, or I don't know if I would want to hear it or not, but just to, you're never going to have people talk about closure. You're never having closure because those kids are never coming home, but something, anything for the families. And, you get to know the families. The little bit that I know, them better than I.
Sadly,
they're awesome. They're awesome. And with the things that they do for everyone out there, we don't need to say anything more.
They are just a great group of people, and I've definitely been blessed.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. Well, hey, listen, I'm going to get out of here. We're going to go watch some NBA basketball. I don't know if you're back in the state of Indiana, but the Pacer game started at 7. That's why Frank Meister chirped out of here a while ago. So thank you very much for coming on.
Yep.
And anything that you want to say on your way out, go ahead and say it. And I appreciate
you joining
us tonight.
Thank you for all your service.
No problem. I enjoy it. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming in.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Sip of Gatorade before we head on out of here, like we do. We're going to go watch some NBA. There's 2 good games tonight. Cheer for Frank Meister's Pacers and many of you other Hoosiers, if you will. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Maybe this weekend, if I can. I'll be celebrating my birthday tomorrow with red bridges and steaks, and my beautiful fiance and my sons are coming over. So it's going to be a blast. It's going to be great weather here. After I do a bunch of work in the morning, of course, and put up some more signs. All right. Have a great Tuesday night. I'll talk to you soon. Worst case scenario, next Tuesday, we'll be doing a members only. So if you got your thing tonight, check it out. It'll be great. It's a good time. I try to do something fun and really interactive. So I hope you could do it. We had about 50 people in chat tonight. Absolutely fantastic. Hope everyone enjoyed. And thank you for coming in. I love you all as always. And we'll leave it go at this. Coach K.